everyone. Today is the meeting of 26 October 2023. The agenda is as follows. Motion on finance by the People Municipal Council. Submission of audit quarterly report. The Development Committee and the Contrast Committee. AOB. However, before the agenda starts, clerk has brought to my attention that the Youth Council has not been sworn in yet at the office. So we will do that before we engage into the agenda. So without further ado, can we invite the Youth Council and the clerk to conduct the vote.
Repeat after me. That I, having been appointed as nominated member representing the youth in the Kanifing Municipality, do swear that I will execute the functions of a nominated member without fear or favor, affection or ill will, according to the Local Government Act and the Constitution of the Republic of the Gambia. So help me God. Thank you.
Congratulations. All right. Thank you and congratulations to the Youth Council. The first action point is provision of the list of materials to be auctioned by the CEO. That is on page 3. Starting page 3, I think. Can you guide the council CEO? What page?
It's page 3. You have the items, yes. The 14th pickup, KMC Police 2. 14th pickup, KMC Police. Toyota Fortuner, KMC 3A. Toyota Land Cruiser, Kanifing 2. Hyundai Tucson, KMC 9.
Youth Council.
That was the starting price. The charges from the auction evaluator.
Explaining what you mean by the evaluator. Or by the mechanics that evaluated it?
No, the evaluator himself.
Or the evaluator?
Yeah, himself, yes.
Okay.
Cycle KMC 96.
So what I would propose, CEO, go through the report. Everybody note your observation, and when the report is done, you can page by page.
This is the auction report KMC for unused and obsolete assets auction, dated October 12, 2023. Location KMC Annex Ground. Supervision and organization. The auction of KMC's unused or obsolete assets were successfully conducted on Thursday, 12 October 2023 by 11:30 a.m. in the presence of the disposal committee. The event took place at the KMC Annex Ground and was supervised by the disposal committee chairman, supported by the committee members and a cashier from the accounts department to receive payments. The chairman of the committee is the deputy director of admin. Auctioneer's expertise. The auction was highly successful, owing much to the expertise and profound knowledge of the auctioneer. The auctioneer demonstrated competence by ensuring that the process was conducted smoothly and orderly. He was able to sell almost all items as expected and advise against the selling of items that are lowly bid. Overall, the auction was a great success. Challenges faced during the process. During the auction, we discovered that here is a typical error. It should be valuator, not auctioneer. We discovered that the valuator overvalued some of the items, and that was the primary reason why those items were not sold, or at worst, sold at a lower price. This valuation discrepancy led to a minor disagreement between the auctioneer and the prospective buyers. Nevertheless, this matter was amicably resolved and the auction proceeded smoothly. Buyer information. Attached to this report, you will find a comprehensive list of the buyers who participated in the auction, along with their contact information, ensuring transparency and accountability in the process. Overall, the auction of KMCs on used and obsolete assets was conducted successfully, generating interest from various buyers. The participation of our experienced auctioneer ensured an efficient and profitable event, and all challenges were satisfactorily addressed. The report and associated buyer information provide a comprehensive overview of the auction's proceedings, demonstrating our commitment to transparency and accountability in KMC's asset management. Signed, endorsed by Yankuba Njai, Procurement Officer. Attached is the list. You have the items, the buyer, the contact number, reserve price, amount sold, TR number. Cash in hand, 1,069,000. Total amount expected, 1,199,000. That's the report.
All right, Ibodan.
Before I come to comments, I have questions about did they advertise the process of this auction? That is my first question.
Pardon?
Did they advertise it?
Yeah, it was well advertised on the newspapers, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
On 3 different newspapers.
Because that is a requirement, so I'm very, very particular about it. Also, the challenges you elaborate here is like I believe the valuator that is his profession. So for overpricing some of the item, because if you look at some of the prices, there is a big difference. The reserving price and the amount sold. There's a huge gap. For example, the item, the tricycle, discipline tricycle number 6, and also the futon pickup number 13, and also Toyota Fortuner number 8. Yeah, and there is no GTR number for number 11 for tricycle. Why? Because we believe every material that is sold in that on that day should have a GTR number for transparency purpose. So I want comments on that. Then from there I will.
Yeah, thank you for your observation and your questions. I think this is an auction, and you also have some buyers who are very specialized in auctioning. Sometimes you can have your reserve price, but it depends on the payments or the offering that the people are offering. Yes, it's true, for number 6, the reserve was 45, but we sold it at 15,000. But also, if you go to number 7, the reserve was 150, but we sold it at 230,000. And also, yes, some are sold above the reserve price, and some are sold below the reserve price, depending on what the people were offering. Yeah. Okay. So for number 11, for the TR number, it's just an oversight, but we'll furnish you with the TR number. Inshallah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
It is not mentioned the unit price of how these items were bought, and also the number of years they serve, and also how to call it, because your buying price and the age of the product, and whether how to call it, because we were discussing some time ago at committee level, finance committee level, that in order to encourage certain council staffs, based on their locations they are posted, like market masters, we've understand that some of them has been given these ACs for their offices. So in order to motivate council staffs, I think if some of these ACs are still there, can we use some of these items to upgrade their offices in their locations? Because this is all geared towards the motivation of council staffs. So in case, instead of selling them at a lost price, whilst they are in a good condition, it's a recommendation. One, if they are in good condition and we don't want to sell them at a bad price, because some of these ACs are almost brand new, because they are from multipurpose center. Okay, how long these things were bought, their age, and then you know whether they are usable or not. Because you are saying that some of them are considered as scraps. All right, but some are in good condition. And yet still council want to motivate some of our staffs that are posted in their locations. So if these items can be given, some of them, that's a recommendation. Yeah.
You cannot auction a material that is in good condition. You have to auction a material that is not in good condition. I think all the materials that were auctioned were scraps, according to reports. You're talking about the inventory register.
Yeah, the inventory list.
Yeah, I think there was no inventory register when we were doing this. So that's why we don't know when it was bought, and we cannot establish the duration of those materials. Thank you.
Yeah, because this is very important factor during the inventory to know how long or the age of the property that council is auctioning.
Yes, council, the problem is they have not been keeping asset register, an updated one. That's why we keep insisting, when you buy new items, you have to serialize them.
Fine.
And update your asset register. And every item has a depreciation period as per the finance policy, and the asset register should be continuously updated. And once they reach the depreciation period, then you should actually sell it at salvage value. But even auctions should not be a regular activity. You should be selling your assets at the values rather than just reserve price and all these other things. And another also issue is the security of our assets. The assets, most of them, staff themselves are stealing the parts or allowing the parts to just depreciate. They are not well taken care of. So this is why committees need to work. It's not always just finance or contracts, but that's why the accounts committee also needs to exercise oversight to make sure that council assets are valued, are identified, and there's a register and always updated periodically. Every year the register should be updated. And that should even inform our balance sheet. Yes, because in the balance sheet you are going to have fixed assets, you are going to have variable assets. But the council, we do financial statements. But in the financial statement, I have not come across a balance sheet.
And also, Your Worship, what is more important here is, I don't know whether the commissioner of our municipal police is being part of it to protect or secure our remaining properties that are there. They are under whose control before the final auction date?
Right. So the commissioner is responsible because the security is responsible for the council premises. But then again, if staff are the very ones stealing the items, it's very difficult because all a commissioner sees is a staff. If a staff takes a tricycle or takes something, he thinks the staff is at work. So that's why I was always emphasizing on one, the asset register, two, surveillance equipment. Every council where our assets are should have surveillance. There should be always a surveillance system in place. So the annex, the multipurpose, this main building and the dump site, all the areas we have major assets must have surveillance. So when the asset register is done and we realize that some items are missing, we can turn to the surveillance equipment to know who took what.
Okay, for the final word is let's have an inventory of remaining properties of council that are unsold so that we know the records that they've sent to this council. We already seen what are sold, what are remaining. But still now, this council is of the opinion that we made an inventory of the remaining properties so that if the auction is to continue, we will automatically know what are the remaining items they are unsold.
I think we already resolved that in 2019. So the accounts committee, I think the Council of Abuko is in charge. That is something that they should do. I see that they have worked on a vendors list. Am I correct? Yes, so that vendors list, you should choose one of the general councils and present it and recommend for its endorsement. Meaning procurement cannot be done out of that vendors list. The same goes for the asset register. I think you should start working on it and bring the council an updated assets register. And based on the assets register, we have to create a balance sheet. So the balance sheet should include both our landed properties, our lands, our parks, markets, community centers, all the lands council owns. Whether we have the paperwork or not, we know it is the land of the council. So we can create a balance sheet so we can know what is the wealth of the municipality. Yes, Talenting sir.
Okay, thank you so much, Lord Mayor, for giving me the floor. I think for the past 3 months, CEO was taxed. I think a letter was written to him through the finance committee. I think some members are here for them to track all these council assets, for them to serialize them, and then they give us a copy. But I think now I keep on reminding him, I don't know what is going on. Initially, what they told us that they are going to hire someone. The committee rejected that they should not hire anyone because still they say that they are on the process. Now it is about 3 months, and then the timeline that was given to them is already elapsed. I think our subsequent meeting we will update the General Council about it because we have all the evidences. When the letter was sent to the CEO, and then for them to supply us with this, even for me, I remind him last month, CEO, still we are waiting for this list, and then, but we don't see it. I don't know what is happening. They say that they are on it. So I think the finance committee already taken that, and then they already have their own fixed asset register sample that they are using in order to track these assets. So what we do before this auction, the time before evaluator was engaged, ourselves, finance committee, the CEO with the deputy mayor, we went for a verifications. So the time we went and verified, we found out that there are a lot of assets that we are not in fact captured on the list. So we captured these assets on the list and then we take photos of them. So that's the time I was following the mechanics. Anytime I reach there, the mechanics, I don't know whether he jumped over the fence. They will say that he's at the dump site. I tried by all means, I get these mechanics. I told him everything. I said to him, look, we have pictures of all these vehicles here, the tires and everything. So make sure the way they are, let them be intact. If anything is missing, at the end of the day, we will know that you are the one who stole it. So after that warning, I think the day they went for, the evaluator came, the evaluator made all these assets intact. And then the day of the auction too, they made all these assets intact. So, but before this auction, the last auction before this one, they value all these items. Later on the day of the auction, some of them were disappeared. But this time around, I think because of the warning, the pictures we took, and then the advice that we give it to individuals whom we know that these assets were under their custody, that's why they don't tamper with these items. So thank you so much.
All right. Okay, if there's no other intervention, we will move to the next action point. The next action point is information for GTSC on the price of adverse placed on their buses. CEO.
Yes, thank you very much, Lord. I've contacted the marketing manager of GTSC, Mrs. Genearl. I discussed the matters with her, so she asked me to write to the general manager. I've already written to the general manager, so I even sent a reminder this last Monday. The letter is already with the general manager. Thank you.
Okay. I don't think they are going to give you the information, because remember, GTSC is looking at us as we are trying to set up a bus company. So they are looking at us as a competitor. So they might be thinking you are doing research on them. All right, so I think the route to go is an informal route, not a formal route. You utilize Amadou, and Amadou can contact his colleagues there. Maybe he even already knows. I don't know if you engage him.
No, I didn't.
Yes, so maybe he already knows. So engage him so we can have better. Amadou, do you know? Okay, you can get the information. All right, so see your work.
Yeah, I'll do that. Yeah.
All right, so the next action point, seizure of IFMIS allowance being paid to users. CEO.
Yeah, I think this is stopped immediately.
Okay. Yes. Baka.
I have an observation there, because when it was mentioned here, I said, now before we stop it immediately, let us refer it back to Finance Committee to look into it. And then I'll just give an example. I was watching the commissions about the Basse Area Council. When they were asked the Finance Director about whether they are using IFMIS, he said yes, they are using it. Because it's only the software that they will allow to take. But any other software, they will not allow to take it. Only the IFMIS, that's what they are trained to use and what they're supposed to use. So we have to come to our senses to make sure that at least let's try to revise back. Even though we are going to reduce the allowance they are receiving and the number of people that are benefiting from this IFMIS, but let us not try to seize it completely. Please, I'm just appealing. It might hunt us somewhere else. So before that happens, let's try to think and see how best we can able to remunerate and then at least reduce the number of people that are being using and reduce the allowance they are receiving.
Yeah, so that discussion should start at the committee level, and then the committee should bring that as a recommendation to the body for debate. I don't want to open that debate here. So if the committee feels that striking down all the allowances completely and in totality is not good for the council, then let them come up at the committee level with a proposal that can be debated here. But I don't want to start a premature debate. We don't have anything on the table. We are just going to waste our time. So what I'm saying, because the council made a decision that let us seize the allowance, the decision is made. Now, if the committee in their wisdom, at their level, see there's a benefit to bring it back, how, when, let them bring it here for a fresh debate via a recommendation. But as far as the council is concerned, at this point, it has been seized. So, Sabeji, for the sake of time, let us just move to the next.